Welcome back. We're going to do, just on this video, these systems of equations. So hopefully you're picking up that this one, although you can use any of the methods, elimination is definitely good for this one because it's already set up. So negative 12 plus a 17 would leave me with 5 x's, and 6 plus 4 is 10. So remember that in elimination, think of them as two teams of tug of war. You're adding these two teams together into one unified team, and adding one unified team, we're not subtracting here. So this team and this team are still equal because if I added everybody on the left and everybody on the right, if everybody on the left was equal to everybody on the right, them together should still be equal. Okay, so we know x is 2, so we just plug it back into either equation. I find this bottom equation is a little bit easier, so I'm going to recopy that one and stick in 2 where the x was. So from recopying this equation, if x we know is 2, then y would have to be negative 30. Now again, you're actually doing something. We found x to be 2 and y to be negative 30, but I'm telling you what, your geometry teacher, that's a straight line. That's a picture of something, and that's a straight line. That's a picture. And this is a coordinate or an ordered pair. You actually found the location where those two lines meet in the universe, and that's the coordinate that they meet. Next one. It's not really set up for elimination. And it's also not set up for substitution. The other method is graphing, but I don't really see graph paper here. So maybe if it was in white, the best and easiest way to graph something, if it's already set up in this form, that this is the form that helps me graph. So I think elimination is still the best answer. But I don't like this equation here. I think if I multiplied every number on the left and every number on the right by 4 on this second equation, that it would be perfect for elimination. Because I really want it to say 8y minus 8y. And if I multiplied this term by 4, it would say minus 8y or negative 8y. So let's do it. Let's rewrite this equation. And then multiply, so that's what I did, just rewrote everything. I'm going to multiply every single thing by the number 4. So if the left side was equal to the right side, if I multiply everything on the left by 4 and everything on the right, it still should be fine. So now I'm going to get 28x. And now I do get minus 8y. And now I get a bigger number here, so I guess I got to be 224, 25, 26. Okay, I think that's right. Let me just double check. 67 times 4. Yeah, okay. So now again, I'm not subtracting. I'm technically adding the teams on the left with the teams on the right. But when I take 8y plus a negative 8y, it goes away. And that's, aha, mission accomplished. That's what I want to do. So I get 33x is equal to, when I add two negatives together, you get more negatives. So I'm technically adding the amount of negatives together. Okay, now let's just double check that. Can you do this in your calculator? Yes. So 29, but I can then make it negative. So negative 29 minus 268. Definitely I get negative 297. Now I just want to divide both sides by 33. And I get negative 9. Now something happened there. I solved one of the mysteries. So now using either equation, I find this one to be a little bit easier. I now can substitute negative 9 where I see the x. So 5 negative 9 times the negative 9. And again, be careful with positives and negatives. So if I take a 29 and make it negative, now I want to add it to 45. And I get 16. That worked out nicely. Y is 2. So these two lines crossed in the universe and they met at a single point the coordinate -9, 2. Now let's take a look at the last one. There's a couple ways I could go here. I like the fact that this one's a negative and that one's a positive. Excuse me, you couldn't see that, sorry. I like the fact that this is a negative, but I could multiply everything by a -3, -3, -3. That also would work out really well. So I don't really have a preference, but I do think that this might be the easiest thing. Multiply everybody by the number 4. Okay, so times 4, times 4, times 4, and then that would cancel because -4y plus 4y would go away. So let's rewrite this. 3x minus 4y is equal to -24. I've just recopied the top equation. Now let's recopy the bottom one. 4x plus 4y equals a -1 times 4 is a -4. So we have, adding the teams on the left with the teams on the right, we have a 7x is equal to a -28. Be so careful with those positive and negative numbers. 24 that's negative minus 4 would be -28. Okay, now divide by 7, we get -4. Voila. So we've solved the mystery of the x. Now let's use it to solve for the mystery of y. Either equation is fine. I've already yuckied that one up though. So I'm going to use the top one, but either one would be perfectly okay. So I'm going to rewrite this formula up here. 3 times x is -4 minus 4y equals -24. So 3 times a -4 would be -12. Add 12 to both sides, I get -12. So -4y equals -12. If I divide by a -4 on both sides, I get y is 3. Okay, so x was -4 and y is 3, and hopefully that matches what you got when you worked the problem out on your own. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.